So we got this Monday Night Raw tonight, which was in Nashville, Tennessee. Which, believe it or not, well, let's just say the crowd was so interesting that they booed their own head coach. That's right, they booed the Tennessee Titans head coach Ken Wisenhunt. Uh, it's funny, especially a certain buddy of mine, James Carter TV. I'm sure you guys heard of him. He's a Titans fan, huge Titans fan, and we all him, Chase Oliver 68, and Gold Stand 000. We all told him that, hey, Ken Wisenhunt got booed on Monday Night Raw because he's not, into wrestling anymore. But he thought it was good, and I'm sure he's probably cracking up a little bit the fact that he got booed. But anyways, let's kick off Monday Night Raw, shall we? We had cutting a promo, and we got back to the classic certain someone. In this case it was Randall Keith Orton coming out there, cutting a promo about the Authority. And of course, Orton talking about his return last night at Fastlane, and out comes the Authority. Yes, sir. And believe it or not, Triple H did not say a word tonight. We're so used to good talking. I guess Sting shut him up after that brawl last night. But Triple H, he was the man. He didn't have to say one word. Triple H tonight was the essential of actions speak louder than words, because he just stood there and made this face the whole night. That was his whole face the whole entire night, and it was freaking hilarious. But anyways, so it's basically Stephanie doing the talking, basically saying that Orton, you can come back to the Authority. We forgive you for what happened. Just talk to us, whatever. Last night I understand you were angry, but let's just talk with us. And basically Orton's like, okay, you want to have a corporate meeting? Sure, I'll be there. And that was basically the gist of it. And believe it or not, instead of this just being like a 20 to half an hour promo, this was only like, I think, 15 minutes or so. So they cut it relatively short compared to usual. Thank God. So we had Bad News Barrett versus Dolph Ziggler. Barrett cut a little promo in the ring, saying how he got robbed of the Intercontinental Championship, even though he's clearly the Intercontinental Champion. Dean Ambrose wrongfully stole his championship belt, and he wants it back. So out comes Dolph Ziggler, and believe it or not, Ziggler and Barrett had a good match. R-Truth, by the way, was at ringside during commentary. I guess R-Truth wants to have a title shot for the IC title because he beat Wade Barrett, or Bad News Barrett, last week on SmackDown, even though no one probably saw that. No, seriously though. Yeah, R-Truth wants a title shot apparently, and don't know if he's gonna eventually get one. I kind of doubt it, and if so, he's gonna get one on Raw, and that's actually the match that Wade Barrett will win. But here tonight, Bad News Barrett loses to the Zigzag by Dolph Ziggler. It was an alright match, okay. Dean Ambrose came out afterwards with the championship. Came out to a pretty good pop, and he kind of teased a little bit, said a few words to Barrett having the championship, then kind of gave a little stiff shoulder to Ziggler. So there might be a chance we could get a triple threat match, maybe for the IC title, possibly Ziggler, Barrett, Ambrose. That should be actually a pretty good match. But if that match happens, what happens to Bryan? So much for Bryan and Ziggler happening, huh? But anywho, nothing's official, nothing's set in stone yet for that wise. But you guys know me. Last night when I reviewed the Fastlane pay-per-view, to me it wasn't, match quality wise, it wasn't necessarily great. But one thing I did like about it, it kind of put most, if not at least half, of the matches for WrestleMania kind of set in stone. Like they became official, or you got a better hint of what was going to happen. So, I appreciate it for that. And I guess that's the whole point of Fastlane. You get fast forward, as Bruce Blitz, would say with his review. But anyways, so then you have this backstage where Seth Rollins, apparently Seth Rollins is going to team up with Randy Orton against both Bruins and Daniel Bryan during the main event, the tag team match, and obviously being awkward because Orton wanted to kill Seth Rollins last night, and how they got to be a tag team together. But apparently you'll see what happens. So then we have Darren and Titus O'Neil. So I guess it's official. The primetime players are back, taking on so far undefeated Ascension, which, my God, I can't stand them. Like seriously, when you. And, I understand, the Bushwhackers, by the way, are officially going to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, which, by the way, is kind of sad, but because of how, joke of a tag team that was. But here it's like, they just say like, oh, the Bushworkers are getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. We're so much better than them. No, actually, it's pretty close of how bad both tag teams are. But anyways, move on. Pretty relatively short match. Darren Young rolls up Victor for the victory, and yes, the Ascension. Their streak is over. Their undefeated streak, at least, and yeah, it shows how much Vince really loves the Ascension. You can tell him and God have two different opinions on the Ascension. The Ascension, long-lasting NXT Tag Team Champions on NXT, and here, yeah, they lose to the primetime players who literally just made their return as a full tag team. So, anyways, then the Ascension beat up on Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, and yeah, that's all you gotta know. So, next you had Roman Reigns. Come and make it rain in this bitch, baby girl. Share my cock face straight up your ass. Suffer a sucker sash, believe that. He comes out there, and I was like, oh my god. But believe it or not, before anyone says, oh, you're bashing Roman Reigns, you freaking hater, Roman Reigns actually cut a decent promo here. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the man's actually showing some improvement on the mic. Oh my god, I'm not saying it was great or amazing, but for Roman Reigns' standard, it was actually a good promo. He comes out there and says he did what he needed to do, and that, people, all the haters didn't think he was going to win, but he won anyways. And now came in Daniel Bryan. And, Daniel Bryan said that, he was the wrestler, and that Roman Reigns was the powerhouse, and that, he gave everything he got, but Roman Reigns won. He didn't respect Roman Reigns, but after last night, things have changed. And that, they shook a little hand, basically, and he said, oh, do me a favor, beat the crap out of Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, so. And then out comes Paul Heyman, and he cut a pretty interesting promo. Now, at first it looked like Heyman was on a good roll, and then he started getting ridiculous to the point where he was actually getting booed, Heyman, for saying things like, oh, if this was back in the day at WrestleMania, I would pick you over Bruno Sammartino. If this was 1998, I'd pick you over Stone Cold Steve Austin. If this was 1999, I'd pick you over The Rock. If this was 2000, I'd pick you over Triple H. If this was 13 years ago, I'd pick you over John Cena. You know what I mean? Like, he was saying things like this, and it was like, oh, okay. When it came from Bruno to Triple H, I was like, then he mentioned Hogan and whatnot, but it was, it did what it needed to do, and, obviously Heyman, mic-wise, outshined Roman Reigns by far, but I think Roman, for his standard, actually, believe it or not, did a decent job, so, yeah, it did what it needed to do. It was alright, so. So next we had a rematch, tag team paddle rematch, between the Usos and Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Not a bad, decent tag team match. I don't know if it was as good as compared to last night. I feel like this was a bit cleaner than it was last night, but still a nice, good matchup. The Usos win by disqualification after Tyson Kidd tried to cheat, basically, obviously use a pinfall victory from the ropes. Leaning on the ropes. Naomi comes in, knocks his feet off, and then I think it was Jimmy Uso that got on top of the turnbuckle, and Natalya pushed him off. He landed on his freaking gonads, and the referee calls for the bell. Usos win by disqualification, but of course, Kidd and Cesaro retain the championships, and then Naomi knocked Natalya off the apron, and she tried to sell some leg ankle injury, but obviously these two are obviously going to have their match at Mania. I could honestly possibly see maybe a intergender matchup, maybe Cesaro and Kidd along with Natalya versus Naomi and the Usos. I'm sure that's probably in the mix, but so yeah, apparently Natalya's heel now, at least full-fledgedly, which, I always thought Natalya was better off as a heel. Just to me, she seems like a kind of person better off as a heel than a face, but that's just me. So The Miz and Sandow backstage are talking about how apparently Sandow got an offer from Hollywood, and that The Miz says he's done everything in this business except for win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So they're apparently bringing back for the second time around the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which to me is good. Gives the mid-carders something to do, so no harm. And then we have Stardust versus Jack Swagger, and Goldust comes up, interrupts during this match. It's a relatively short match. Swagger hits the ankle lock after Stardust was distracted. Stardust taps out. Swagger wins, and yeah, fans actually got into where they started chanting Cody, Cody, which, it's kind of interesting because, maybe it seems like WWE might be in the thing where, Goldust is like, oh, you can't beat me as Stardust. You need to go back to Cody Rhodes in order to beat. Which, let's face it, I was a fan of Cody Rhodes, Stardust. Hell no. Okay, so, oh god, got this promo. John Cena comes down to the ring, and as usual, you guys know the stick. When John Cena loses a match on pay-per-view, he has to come very next night bitching, whining, complaining of how he lost. He says that how it was a tough fight against Rusev, blah, 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 but you know what? He had to cheat. He had to hit me in the groin in order for hit his submission maneuver and win, and blah, blah, blah. So out comes Lana and Rusev. And basically, Cena wants a rematch with Rusev. Rusev declines it, says, you know what, you don't deserve it, you lost, deal with it, I'm a champion, United States champion. The Federation of Russia thanked me after beating you, blah, blah, blah. And then the flag threw down. And Cena's reaction during this promo was priceless. Like, when Rusev was talking, this was Cena the whole time. I kid you not, this was him. Like a freaking fish out of water. It was like, what the hell? But anywho, that was that. So then we have a backstage segment between Seth Rollins. He was talking to JJ Security. Orton comes in. Rollins waves JJ Security off. Basically, Rollins says, oh, you hate me, whatever. It's like, I don't know if hate's a strong word. It's like, okay, cool, he left that behind. That, no, I don't forget that. But tonight we have our match. Let's just do business, yada, yada, yada. So. And then we literally had a 30-second match. 30-second Divas match between Paige and Emma versus the Bella Twins. And literally, this match was literally a one-move match. A dud. Alright? Emma came after Brie. Brie hits the Bella Buster. Nikki knocks her off the apron. Meaning knocking Paige off the apron. Brie pins Hippie Bella. Pins Emma. And that's a match. What was the point of this? You could have just easily had a backstage segment to replace this, or maybe a backstage brawl for that matter. That would have been cool. Divas brawling backstage, haven't seen that in forever. But anywho, you had also a little promo, little vignette, little video package of Sting, the history of Sting, his little profile. So it was cool to see that. The younger fans, of course, they forgot 14 years of him in Impact Wrestling, y'all, brother. But it was still cool to see, from, his surfers thing, the man called Sting, to, obviously his crow gimmick, so. I thought that was kind of a cool thing they did. Then, of course, like I said, they inducted the Bushwhackers. Bushwhackers will be inducted, and Curtis Axel, oh my god, apparently he's trying to get this Axel Mania thing over, because he's still trying to convince us that he's still in the Royal Rumble. He never got eliminated. And he's going to the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Oh my god. Oh, this was stupid. So Ryback comes out and he's like, you know what, we were a tag team. Big guy, Chris Axel, Ryback. But the big guy's hungry now. Yeah, and I'm gonna go to WrestleMania and win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Feed me more. And then freaking Ryback kills him in like a minute. I kid you not. So yeah, Ryback gives Ryback to do it. Oh, wait, by the way, apparently, remember that tag team match that happened at last night at the Fastlane? That match is happening on SmackDown. Gee, I wonder if the faces are going over. Okay, so finally, we go to the main event. Tag team match, player. Yeah, Seth Rollins, Long Lost X-Men versus Burns and us and Burn. And not a bad tag team match. It was pretty decent. It was alright. I mean, you kind of saw the finish coming a mile away. In some perspective, you saw it a mile away, but overall it was okay for a main event tag team match. Reigns tags in Daniel Bryan. Bryan hits the kick, his running knee, and pins Seth Rollins 1, 2, 3. Bryan and Roman Reigns wins. Then after the match is over, Bryan and Reigns leaves the ring, and then all of a sudden, Roman, Joey Mercury, Jamie Noble came in the ring. He got eaten by an RKO. Joey Mercury almost did. He got out, and then Kane and Big Show, who were already at ringside, trying to break it up a little bit. And it looked like he's going after, Seth Rollins, and then he just looks at Rollins and kind of pats him, and obviously, Orton is the Viper, Apex Predator, Batman himself. He's playing mind games with the long lost X-Men known as Seth Rollins, because it's clear obvious he is playing mind games with Seth. So, but it was kind of interesting. They ended it on that note. Obviously you expect an RKO out of nowhere for Mr. Seth Rollins, but that was not the case. Orton just just like whatever, and just walked out of the ring. So overall, I think it was an okay, decent show. I mean, could have been better, yeah, but it's Monday Night Raw these days. What do you expect? But hey, at least you could tell they're at least trying a bit more compared to usual, because WrestleMania is 5 weeks from now, so a little less than 5 weeks. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow me on Twitter. The link will be down in the description box. Subscribe to me. Of course, that's down below. Comment. You know what to do. Catch y'all later. Have a good night, guys.